Good day, everybody. John Henderson Pierre, the Beer Ramble, here in my yard, looking at Audible Pale Ale by Redhook Brewery. Uh, Introduced in 2013, 4.7 ABV. Um, uh, American Pale Ale style. Now Redhook is part of the Anheuser-Busch InBev conglomerate, the world conglomerate of Anheuser-Busch InBev. Look at the beer, and the beer is in honor of the good friends at the Dan Patrick Show. Audible Pale, listen to your thirst. It's Audible. That's why Audible Ale was created, or came after. As you can see, what the beer looks like right here is a pale ale style. Most pale ales are the alcohol on them are between 4 to 7%. This is at 4.7, so it's pretty light. I don't say light, but very orange colors you can see. There you go. Not much you can look at on this beer. Onto the scent. It has a little citrus orange scent I'm getting to this beer right now. Yeah, a little orangey. Maybe it might be the hops on this, I guess. But barley, I know barley. It's just very. It has some malts in this. It's a little. It's not overly powerful. It's almost like you're eating something like a cinnamon roll, maybe, and where there's not much cinnamon in this, but it has those scents to it, raisins. It has a little scent of that. So onto the taste. Ain't bad. Nothing negative about it. So sorry, someone just texted me here. Respond to that text. I know it's rude to kind of do this while I'm doing this video and talking to you, and I got these roosters right here, chickens back here. So you go with the flow, as they say. Just respond to that person. And that's that. So, that's that. Gone. All right. Gets a okay score with Beer Advocate. Bros haven't scored it yet, and I haven't seen the score on Rate Beer of this beer. So it's okay. I mean, it's not. I've had some other better pale ales. Sierra Nevada's one. Um, uh, I've had the 51 by Fairhill Brewing Company, which is right across the river. I can see Fairhill Brewery from my vantage point, right there in Fairhill. I can actually see them. Um, that's also good. There was another beer by New Belgium called the Paddle, which I think was a pale ale. I thought that was also good as well. So several out there. So this is okay. Redhook, of course, started as a craft brewery out in Washington State back in the mid '80s. Of course, they moved further out to the East Coast about in the mid '90s, mid to late '90s, early 2000s. They moved out here to the east of the Mississippi River, as I like to say. They have their main brewery started in Seattle, but their main brewery is in Woodinville, Washington. They have another in Portland, Oregon, and Memphis, Tennessee. But their two main breweries is there and Portsmouth, New Hampshire. In 2010, they were bought out, or Anheuser-Busch bought 32% stake in that company in 2010. So now they're, I guess, part of the Anheuser-Busch umbrella because of the ownership, the percentage of ownership that they have. So, and Anheuser-Busch has a brewery in New Hampshire. Um, I believe it's Mamaroneck, New Hampshire. I could be wrong. But you know, they're part of the conglomerate taking over the world. So, of the beers I've had from them, from Redhook, I've had the ESB, the extra special bitter. I've had their IPA, the Long Hammer. I've had their Golden Ale. I've had that. So those are the three I've had from them. I haven't had the others, and now this is their fourth beer I've had from them. This is my second time having this. So I said, let me do a review of it. I got this at Rouse's for like $1.69 a bottle. So, you know, one good thing about Rouse's and many stores like that, and there's another store in the Mobile area, the Bebo's Car Wash on Hillcrest and O'Shell Road. They in Mobile, Alabama, that right across from the campus of University of South Alabama. They're a little brewery. They have you can get individual, not brewery, but store. You can get singles of whatever beer you particularly care for. You know, this have a lot of Ballast Point that I saw there when I was there, and a couple of others. So, which is kind of cool because look, I think people are realizing this. And another store in my area, Cottage Hill Package Store on Cottage Hill and Hillcrest, they do that as well. Look, it's like you want, if you're going to buy something, you don't want to buy the six pack. You just want to say, okay, is this beer worthy of me buying the six pack or buying the 12 pack? And you rather have it sold in singles and say to the customer, say, okay, I'll get this in a six pack. Or say, no, thank you, I'll pass. You don't want to buy the whole kit and caboodle. And I think a lot of the stores all across the country, are starting to realize that. And these stores in my area are starting to realize that now. That, you don't want to spend your hard-earned money on something that you're going to buy thinking you hear the word of mouth, but you rather maybe just try just one and just kind of see for yourself and say, if it's worthy of my money the next time, whether it be a large quantity of it. So, as far as this, I mean, it's okay. Do I see this getting this again versus say a Sierra Nevada or any other pale ale? Probably not. But it's decent enough that one or maybe two bottles of this I can get. Um, Audible, of course, the definition of audible means being heard, but in sports terms, it means if you can look by the bottle, you can see the plays chalkboard where they're drawing all the plays. It means a quarterback, coming up with a new play right at the line of scrimmage. And of course, this beer is in honor of the Dan Patrick Show. If you don't know who Dan Patrick is, started locally in Dayton, Ohio. Former basketball player, but college. But Dayton, Ohio is mostly known as a sportscaster. Started Dayton, Ohio, did a couple of things locally. Then went on to CNN, where he would cover all, file reports for all the major sporting events, World Series, NBA Finals, yada yada yada. And then in 1989, went on to join ESPN and that's where he sort of kind of made a name for himself on ESPN, anchoring the Sports Center highlight show. Um, he, along with Keith Olbermann, who also worked at ESPN, I mean, excuse me, at CNN, and he also joined ESPN in that same year, and both of them would do the Sunday night, late night highlight show on ESPN, or 11 o'clock show, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific time zone. Uh, um, and they named their show The Big Show. And it was, they did a lot of, irreverent humor, a lot of, inside jokes about the network and whatnot. And it was kind of, appointment television watching these guys. And even a lot of people from, TV Guide and other industry folks began to take notice. And TV Guide put them on the cover. While it gave them a lot of press, the folks at ESPN were not too happy about that. So, but in any event, they did their Sports Center show, and of course they were there covering all the major events on doing the highlight show. Dan would do all the major events, the NBA Finals, World Series, NCAA tournament, Super Bowl, whatever, anchoring all those coverages, things, and file those reports to ESPN. Olbermann left then around 1996 or so. Olbermann left. 1996 or 1997, Olbermann left, and then went on to join MSNBC, started doing news and all that. Dan stayed a while longer and continued to be on the network. Then he did his radio show on ESPN Radio. And then stayed on, and in about 2007, decided to not resign with ESPN, left, went on to do other things, and then he started his radio show with this Content Factory, which was Sports Illustrated, and sort of this nationally syndicated show, and now since 2008, he joined NBC Sports. Sports group, hosting Football Night in America, doing the Olympics, hockey, did a couple other things, but now mostly known for Football Night in America and the Olympics, and of course his nationally syndicated radio show on ESPN. Excuse me, on NBC, on the Premier Radio Network, I believe it is. And it's syndicated all across the country, and it's simulcast on Audience Network and NBC Sports Network, or NBCSN. All the big names in sports and entertainment comes on the show. You have him and his cohorts, or Danettes, he likes to call them, Andrew Perloff, a.k.a. McLovin, Todd Fritz, a.k.a. Fritzy, Paul Papps, a.k.a. Paulie, and you have Patrick O'Connor, a.k.a. Seton, or Seton O'Connor. So it's a fun show. I listen to them a lot. I enjoy their stuff. I love their humor. I love their knowledge. It's a good show. Very entertaining. It's not always about the highlights. It's not always about the score box. It's about different things, which is what, I'm a sports fan, but sports is not my entire life. And the same with the show. So, and it comes on 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central, 6 a.m. Pacific. Depends where you are across the country. You listen to the show. And you can download the podcast, which is a fun podcast to listen to. But so, anyway, that's what they named the beer after, the Audible Ale. So, I'm going to give this beer, they say it's okay to give it a 77 score on Beer Advocate. I'm going to give this thing a C+. So I'll say 7.5 for this beer. It's all right. Not spectacular, but all right. So that's all I got. If you've had the Audible Pale Ale by Redhook, and you think the score is fair, or you think it deserves a better score, or I'm just a complete utter moron. Some would say that, but anyway. Log on, subscribe to my channel, and leave your comments on the bottom, and let me know what you think about this beer. So 7.5 score, C plus for the Audible Ale. John Anderson Pierre, the Beer Ramble, telling you to keep watching, and as always, cheers!